Hi everyone, Mark here. I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. This is a wonderful chance I get every 6 months or so to catch up with some of our full members, and Maxim Jago has joined me. Maxim, thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me. Glad to
It,
be here.
it's great to have you, and thank you very much for being one of our full members. We had an interview last year. I think it was published in August 24, and I gather it's been a hectic year for you, 24, and there are some exciting plans for 25. So this is our chance to find out what's been going on and what we can look forward to this year.
Well, thank you very much for asking about that. It's been, I think the word I would use is bewildering. I um I sometimes feel like, you get these moments professionally where you're in a room and everyone's handing you pieces of paper you need to deal with. And sometimes it's like everyone's handing you things to deal with, but everything's on fire. And now it feels like everything's on fire and the fire itself is on fire. Everything has to happen all at once and you're trying to get through it. And I think I feel blessed to be very busy. That doesn't change the fact that I also need to sleep sometimes. So it's been great. Since last year, so let me think, August, goodness. Well, there's been a lot of planning and preparation for events this year. So the new stuff on the calendar is, and actually, I don't have a copy with me. I'm just about to publish a book I wrote describing a teaching masterclass. I created a teaching system based on empathy skills, storytelling, and pattern recognition and pattern creation. The feedback on the book's been phenomenal. I'm hoping to get it published in the next 10 days. I'm just self-publishing. I've also got the new book on Premiere Pro that's delivered and now will be coming out later in the year. So that's the official book on Premiere Pro for Adobe. And I'm also finished the philosophy book is done and dusted and ready. So I'm now actually, if anyone's listening, I'm really trying to connect with ideally Penguin Random House or a really good literary agent who can represent me to one of the big five publishers. I really want as many people to get access to this book as possible. It's my life's work. It's the most important thing I'm likely to create, unless I one day have kids. This is the summation of about 30 years of me exploring every spiritual and philosophical system I could find, plain English. Every section is 5 to 10 minute reads, and it's about 170 ideas on living a good life. And I'm really happy with the work, and the feedback's been tremendous. And I really want to get it out there for people to benefit from. Hopefully it'll be helpful. But
Yeah.
in terms of events, so there's that. I've been doing a lot of keynotes. I spoke this year for the first time at the World Economic Forum in Davos at a couple of different venues, one for the family office group and one for Abraham House. Fantastically well received. And then I flew straight over to Sundance and gave a talk that was much better received than I dared to hope about consciousness and creativity. That was really, really well received at 2050 House. I'm hoping to post both of those sets of talks online. I'm just waiting on the media being sent over. In
And
the
what about the
meantime,
creativity? What about the conference? You said there was.
right. So the creativity conference, we've now got official confirmation from Microsoft. We're hosting with them in June on the 19th this year in New York in Soho. We'll be opening up the registration fairly soon for that. Totally free event. We've got several extraordinary speakers contributing. So that's the 19th of June. And we haven't announced this really anywhere publicly yet, but we've got an official partnership with the Raindance Film Festival in London, and we are presenting a partnership event on the 27th of June in London, just down from Piccadilly, the main venue for the festival. I'm hoping we can get Elliot Grove, who runs Rain Dance, to speak as well. And we've got wonderful speakers coming to talk about creativity with a focus on film. So that's the 27th of June in London, our first conference in London. And then we've got on the 12th of December, we're booked in at the Museum of the Future in Dubai, and we're planning a really big, fantastic creativity conference there. And all of those events, they're free to attend. We always need more sponsors. So if anybody's interested to reach 8 to 10 million audience, an amazing audience of people who have audiences, it's one of the most rarefied audiences you can have. Most of our attendees could be speakers. Most of them are founders, visionaries, authors, thought leaders. If you want to reach an audience like that, give us a shout. And the other event, if for anybody who's going to the Cannes Film Festival, is we are now planning our Cannes Film Festival pajama party. This is one of the most famous parties at the festival, completely free. It's a lottery to attend. If you go to the pj.party, I should give you websites. The creativity conference is creativityconference.is, I for India, S for Sierra. That's the Icelandic domain extension because we're hosting a major conference next year in August in Reykjavik in Iceland. That one's all booked in and we'll announce that soon. And the party is the pj.party. And that one is 350 people in a very safe space in pajamas. Getty Images does the photography. The red carpet goes up the hill. We never run out of champagne. But it's one of these really high-end parties, but we specifically do not care who comes. So it's just your name and your email address, completely free to attend. Put your name on the website. The lottery is live now. Once again, we need sponsors to reach our big audience for that event. But if you're going to Cannes, it's a really nice event to participate in.
That sounds great. It's going to be a wonderfully busy year for you, Maxim.
Yes, I'll also be at South by. If anyone's going to South by Southwest, I'm a judge for their pitch program. So I will be there the 6th to the 12th of March. Then in April, I'll be speaking at NAB in Las Vegas. May is Cannes. June is our conferences. I might get to have a nap in July. It could be nice. It could be good.
Well, I'm not surprised at all by the creative polymath that is Maxim doing all this. It's wonderful. And we've just had a lovely catch up earlier, which is fantastic. And some wonderful exchanges of ideas around that. Some of it not fit for publication. But
I wanted to share, if I may, I had a thought recently about people getting into creative work. And if I may, if we've time, I just like to share this thought because I found it so helpful myself. There's a lot of people that are interested to produce something new, whether it's a work of art, found a company, whatever it is. People often hesitate. They procrastinate for really good reasons. Well, I might do it wrong, so I have to be careful before I start. And I came to this idea that actually the creative process is always iterative. And if you think of any great artist today, any great thought leader, anybody who's done anything great, trust me, they were terrible when they started. Every single one of them was awful when they began. And they learned and got better, which means, in my view, my interpretation of that is for you to, the process by which you achieve greatness as a photographer, a singer, anything at all that's creation, that successful process is the iterative stages of failure and learning and development and improvement and growth. So if you ever want to succeed at something amazing, or you want to achieve any outcome, know that the failure at the beginning, yes, that's the process of you succeeding at that thing.
Yeah.
So if in doubt, just begin. Do it badly, break it, get it wrong. If you're not sure how to start writing something, set out to write it in the worst way imaginable. Use the wrong words, do it in crayon, just begin. The next step is always the most important step. So if you can just get started and embrace that the failing, the suffering, the challenges, the obstacles is the process of you succeeding, I think it can give you hope to begin.
I think that's wonderful. I can feel a speed webinar coming up on that for us at one of our events. Yes, we were all amateurs once.
Yeah. And I think, you just keep being an amateur. One of my favorite quotes is something like, the difference between the teacher and the student is that the teacher has failed more times than the student has tried.
Interesting.
It's just great, right?
Fantastic way of looking at it.
Of course you get it wrong. There's so many things that I've been doing for decades, like keynotes. I love giving keynotes. I love it. If anybody needs a keynote, look me up. I travel all around doing it. I love it. But pretty much every time I present, I come off stage thinking, oh, I did that wrong. I should remember next time I should do it. I should do this differently, or I should try this out differently and see if I can improve on it. And I train trainers to train trainers to train people. And I still come off every time I teach anything thinking, oh yeah, the way I put that, I could have just adjusted that. I can always improve. It's always growth. It's always change. It's the only constant.
Yeah. I can't remember which golfer it was, but he said, do you know what? It's strange. The more I practice, the luckier I get.
There's another quote like that by I think it was Pedro Almodovar, who's a phenomenal Spanish director,
Mm,
and he said something similar. Like, I find the harder I work, the luckier I am.
yeah.
And I met this Shanahan's his name, a phenomenal photographer in the States, who's photographed all the famous musicians. He's a musician himself, and phenomenal guy, beautiful to speak to. He's expressed an interest in speaking at the conference in June in New York, and possibly in Dubai in December. And he just started out with that. We were talking about his work, and he said, "I just did the work." And it's amazing to me, how, I've been a photographer longer than I've been a filmmaker. And it's amazing to me how often I'll speak to someone that claims they're a photographer, and you ask them the most basic question, like, what is depth of field? And they've no idea. They don't know, they've never heard of the circle of confusion. They don't know the difference between an f-stop and a t-stop. They don't really know about exposure rates and motion blur, but they call themselves a photographer. And I think it's really, yeah, you're taking photographs and your work might be fantastic, but you're missing out on what you could be. What you could be is not just a good photographer, you could be a great photographer if you
Mm,
learn the rules, so you can break them, of course. But if you really understand the way photons work, the way light hits a sensor and triggers it and makes things happen and gets measured, and quantization, and like, learn about this stuff, it's all free. It's completely free online. I've got a load of courses on LinkedIn Learning. I just
mm,
released another one on Auditions, done fantastically well. I've got one on Premiere Pro coming out. But if you want to learn how photos work, how cameras work, how light works, YouTube. There's
yeah.
so many. Or was it the Khan Academy? There's all these platforms where it's all free. Just do the work, learn.
Mm,
And the more
mm,
you learn, you get this arrogance in your 20s where you've got just enough understanding in life where you can kind of you can make your way, and your understanding is so shallow that you think, right, I've got it now. All these older people are idiots that they don't understand anything, and I understand, and people should listen to me. And then as the older you get, the more you learn how little you know, the more you learn how nuanced and complex and layered it is. Like some of the controversial things you and I were speaking about before this interview, you realize things start out being really simple, and you're like, yep, that's good and that's bad. And then you look into the nuance, the reality. I'm an optimistic realist, but I'm primarily a realist. And I think to be an artist, to be a creative, it's necessary, in my opinion, and I'm willing to debate it, I'm willing to be wrong, but in my view, it's necessary for you to be fundamentally a realist, because the goal of the poets, the musicians, the singers, the dancers, the painters, our goal is to express and communicate via our medium understanding. But what is the thing that we're communicating the understanding about? It's reality. And that reality might be your authentic emotional truth, subjective truth, or it might be trying to convey something fundamental about the objective reality in which we live. But if you're not willing to embrace your own reality, if you're avoidant, escapist, maybe you just get lost in drugs or alcohol or sleep, like you're avoiding your own reality, or you're avoiding your objective external world reality, then what are you communicating about? What are you sharing via your medium? It's just a fabrication. It's a flittering daydream, butterfly floating through your consciousness. If you want to connect with people, connect with them on the subject of what is real. And when you get into we were talking about the geopolitical landscape, you get into the detail, you've realized, wow, that is a lot more layered. Like there are some fundamental principles at work that are dead easy to understand. But then you get into the expression of those principles and you realize, wow, I just thought I could love everybody and we'd all be good. And then it turns out that there's a lot more going on. And that's where I think as people get older, they become pragmatic. So I describe myself as a pragmatic, optimistic realist. And that's at the heart of true creativity, in my view.
yeah. That's great. Thank you so much. It's such food for thought. You've made me think of the phrase emotional entropy, um, which is
Yeah.
underneath that. Maxim, thank you so much for recording this quick update. It's great to hear that you're busy and people are benefiting from your expertise and thought process.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yes, it would be wonderful if we could have you do a 10-minute speed webinar on something
Oh,
exciting.
I'd be honored. Yeah, just let's work out a date. That'd be lovely.
Great. Maxim, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mark.